Is this oversimplified? Well, yes, we did everything as a percent of sales. You'll note that the one that was not based on sales directly was depreciation, which was based on fixed assets, which was based on sales. So directly, almost all our assumptions were strictly percent of sales, except one, which is depreciation, which in turn was based on sales. So we made a very simple projection, but it worked, and it got us one pass through to estimate valuation, balance sheet, income statements. The other thing is we said everything's linear, and we'll see that there are assumptions that we made, which we're now going to debunk one at a time. The first is we had asset to sales ratios be constant, so that for every dollar in sales growth, we need more assets. Well, that's not necessarily true, because in general, there might be a base stock we need, and as we grow, we need more. But that slope would be flatter than a high growth, assuming we start at zero. The second assumption is that everything's linear. What if, as we grow, we need less? As we grow, we have more scale effects, and we don't have to have the same growth in this example, inventories. With every dollar sales, we don't have to have a fixed percentage growth in inventories. Or we might have some things that are lumpy. Lumpy are these step functions that we've seen before. So the fixed assets, perfect example. As we grow, we could grow our capacity utilization until a point where we now have a need for more assets. Then we grow, maybe another line or another factory, and that carries us for another certain growth in sales, and then we grow again. So fixed assets is a very common example of a step function where we can grow without any increase in factories, and then we have to add, and that keeps us growing for a certain amount of sales, and then we add again, right? That's what we call it in increments or a step function. So summarizing the chapter, we looked at the process of financial projections, and we evaluated those based on our requirements for profits, balance sheet, and borrowings. We computed AFN and SGR and saw how we could identify levers that would make those numbers change or be more favorable. We did some detailed forecasting where we started with actuals, had assumptions, got to key metrics, used those key metrics to get to free cash flow and a quick measure of return on invested capital. Then forecasted the balance sheet and income statement to see what is the impact of those assumptions, whether we have sufficient cash to support that plan. The answer was no until we did some improvements in the plan. And that led us to kind of a full circle analysis of the financial viability of the company based on those projections. Oh, by the way, how did you do on the Kahoot? I hope your scores are high. If not, I hope that you learned from the mistakes that you made on how to. Oh, by the way, how did you do in Kahoot? This is not a graded assignment. It was more just to keep you engaged and try out a new tool. But I hope you enjoyed kind of working the Excel, answering some questions, and having a little gamification. Just trying that little element to spice things up since we couldn't be in the room at the same time. Oh, how did you do on Kahoot? I hope you did well. As you know, it was not graded. It was really more to keep you engaged and force your thinking a little bit here and there. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it made it somewhat more lively than you sitting at home staring at me talking at you. All right? Not quite the same as all being together with your teammates and classmates, but we do what we do. But we do what we can do.